I've had a lot of requests for quite a long time for this video, and I actually wasn't going to film this today. I was going to film another video, but when it came to setting up my equipment, I felt like it was the right time to start this. I haven't shown my face in many videos lately, so I think I need to kind of be eased back into a lot of kind of talking videos and videos where I kind of show myself. But I also want to kind of fast track that a little bit, so hopefully this will push me, give me a little bit more progress in that way. I'm not even really sure how I'm going to talk about most of the pieces. Some of them I probably won't be able to show you. There's one on my back, I'm not sure how that will go ahead, but yeah, if you haven't guessed from the title already, I thought I would finally give in and talk about my tattoos. It's definitely been the most requested video, maybe closely kind of tied with Lord of the Rings reading. This is a very long book and it's difficult to kind of keep at it. Yeah, I think I'll start with, it would make sense to start with the first one that I had, but that would be an awkward position, so I think I'll start with the easier ones. So just before I came to university 3 years ago now, I left my city that is about 2, 3, 4 hours away, depending on the traffic. I think I've said this before, but to Americans that probably won't seem like very much, but to British people that's an annoying amount of time to be on the road. Then yeah, and my sister Mickey, who has a lot of tattoos, she's covered head to toe. In fact, there's no one in my immediate family that doesn't have a tattoo, except maybe one of my sisters. I can't remember her ever having any, but yeah, my sister that has the most, and I and our mother went for a tea and cake kind of send off, and we were having this quaint kind of day out, and my sister suggested that we get spontaneous matching tattoos. She received a lot of her tattoos from someone that she knows, and she knew that because we'd only get small things, he'd be able to make time for us. And we've always had a love, I think it's come from my dad, of true crime and weapons and oddities and things like that. So we tried to find something to symbolise that kind of passion that we shared, and we came up with a knife. So we went and we got that tattooed, matching. It was one of the first ones I had. I'm trying to think, I think it might have been the second overall tattoo I had. And after a few months I felt like I wanted to start getting some more, and I wanted a matching one, so I got a gun, because this might seem, I'm not sure, I try to ask myself a lot, if I saw someone with my tattoos in public, what would I think of them? And I can never really come up with an answer, I'm being honest, I'd probably think they seem like a bit of a dickhead. Why have they got a gun tattooed on them? When they're a little girl that is afraid of everything. But I genuinely just, not connected to the context of what they do, but I genuinely just find weaponry really interesting. The history of the various weapons and the variety of styles, just aesthetically I think they're quite nice. It wasn't to be like edgy or anything, but I guess that they could look that way. But it's just generally because me and my family have my mum doesn't really get it, but me and my family have a fondness for kind of true crime and oddness and weapons and everything. My dad has I'm not sure, should I say that? Never mind. But then after a few months I decided I wanted to start building on that space a little bit more. So I actually drew up myself various weapons, and I took them to the man who tattooed this. I think, yeah, he did do that one. No, actually he didn't do that one. But I took it to the man who worked at the same place, and we kind of just sat there, and he kind of said, does this look good here, and this one here, and we just sat and added the rest. So there's it's kind of backwards and everything. So there's the original knife. There's I don't know which ones to. Okay. So there's oh my god, why am I forgetting the terms? Mace? Yeah, it's a mace. A noose, which is odd, but it looks quite nice. I'm not sure if you can see these. A bottle of poison. So there's some police cards. I hope they're not for me. Kind of nunchucks. Sorry, there's a lot of police cars going around. Sorry about that. Where were we? A knuckle duster, a grenade, a chainsaw, an axe, a kind of traditional katana, a hammer, a bomb, a bear trap, which was an unusual one, but I was running out of ideas. A kind of cutthroat, and like a machete. That is a type of machete, isn't it? Yeah. So, and I decided to kind of fill in the blanks with kind of stars and just the really kind of traditional kind of look. I like traditional tattoos a lot. I only have a few that don't really match that kind of description. I like the idea of kind of building up bits, but bit by bit over time. Yeah, and so kind of little patches and different areas of the body having different things. And contrary to what a lot of people kind of worry about, I don't really mind the idea of having some tattoos that at the later on or at this moment not really liking, because as long as they're not too kind of out there and big, I think it's just part of the kind of story. Yeah, it's just you developing as a person and as long as you don't run out of room, I think it's fine. I won't get into the whole kind of thing of some people not liking tattoos, because it really shouldn't matter. And I'm expecting a fair amount of kind of dislikes and negative kind of commentary on this video. I don't even really kind of care about mentioning about that, or kind of talking about it for too long, because it doesn't affect me. But yeah, they're quite odd ones, but I'm still fine with them. I don't really know what to do on the top half of my arm here. I worked out it would take about 12 to 13 more weapons to fill that space, and I'm not sure there are that many types in the world. I'm already kind of running out of ideas. Maybe I'll just do a completely separate piece. But on this arm, which when I kind of came back to YouTube, I think I had this tattoo. I think it was when I was reading Lolita, or just kind of a catch-up video, and this was the tattoo that made a lot of people kind of start asking for a kind of tattoo show and tell. So I need to go back. It was the same man who did these as well, actually. I need to go back and because we agreed when I left that I'd go back later and kind of get the outlines touched up, because we ran out of time. He already kept the shop open much later than usual to kind of finish it. But I still like it as it is, even though it's not as crisp as it probably could be. But it's a piece based on James Jean's pomegranate piece. As an artist myself, I'm not sure how I feel about people getting their work, getting someone's work tattooed on them without kind of permission, or if it's not from the kind of person themselves. But not everyone's work is kind of available to be tattooed, and in this case I would have 100% messaged him and said, if I buy this print, can I get this piece tattooed on me, because then you're kind of getting something out of it, and I can you kind of use this as reference and everything, which I am going to do with 2 more pieces that I'm hoping to get soon. But this person is a very, very famous artist, and they I really wanted to buy the print, but I think it was a limited edition of, I think, 40, and I can't quite remember how much, but I think that the prints were at least about £500, which, as someone who's just finished university, still 99.9% finished, really. I've still got a kind of London show and everything, and graduation and everything to do. I am not in the position to be paying for that. So hopefully one day I'll be able to afford something similar, just to kind of give him some kind of kickback for it. But I have actually seen other people with tattoos of his work before, and I'd like to think that because he's getting that kind of money from those pieces, I'd like to think that he wouldn't be angry that I've taken his work, but more happy that I loved it so much and so intensely that I wanted it on me, and that I talk to people about it all the time and show people his work. So in case you can't really tell, she is called Pomegranate because she is, this girl is applying a kind of paint to her face that's made out of crushed up pomegranates. I'd definitely suggest googling it and having a look at the full piece, because it's got a whole kind of crazy psychedelic background. His work is just amazing. And I'd love more work based on his stuff as well. But yeah, that was one of the kind of first big pieces that I got. I guess next, what did I get first? Oh yeah, I actually was supposed to get a tattoo on the 27th of May. I'd booked in and paid the deposit and everything for just a small kind of piece from someone kind of local to me, but I do have to get a train out to him. And I had to cancel it because I was so ill I couldn't even kind of stand in the shower, never mind take a few hours of pain. But I've been to him before and I got 2 tattoos at once because he was so kind of, his work is so good. I didn't want to have to just go out there just to get one. I wanted to make it the day worth it. And also he was quite cheap because he had only recently been kind of promoted from being an apprentice. So I caught it at a good time. And he did this piece for me. I'd seen on his Instagram a similar piece, a fan that he did on a girl, but it was a completely different kind of, basically it was just a fan. That was the only similarity. It was kind of lace and very kind of girly. And I asked him if he'd be willing to do something similar, but a Japanese kind of fan and drawing and cultural references from Japan. Because I still do have I still feel drawn to Japan. I might not kind of wear Hello Kitty things and kind of talk about it as much, and I realise I've not studied the language basically for the whole of my university time. But I'm actually, this morning and in the past few days, I've actually been looking into local tutors or courses near me because I really, really want to get back into it. Yeah, I want to get back into that as a hobby, so that all my hobbies don't just involve being kind of outdoors and like climbing and everything. Because then when I feel really ill and I can't climb, I just feel bad about myself that I can't do anything. So I'd like a backup kind of hobby. But yeah, he managed to do it really, really well. He didn't he kind of sent me a sketch, but then when I came on the day, he basically just knocked it up for me and said, "Does this look alright?" And it was just perfect. Yeah, so he did that, and then the same day he also did a piece at the top of my back, and I'm really not sure how I'm going to show you. I'll figure that out. But it's basically a mountain kind of scene, a sunset mountain scene. I can't really climb mountains, just small gorges, and I might cry while doing so. But I do have a kind of sense of adventure and longing to find beautiful places like that. And I can't remember if it was a flash that I saw of his or if I asked him to draw something up. But yeah, I was really happy with it. He did a really good job with the colours and everything. So the next piece, I guess I can find a way to show you. I can't really show all of it, but it is a kind of puppet that I had done from a girl kind of near Bristol. I also got this done for fairly cheap because she was an apprentice, and then I'd only recently been kind of promoted. I actually got that because in the same kind of place here I have a kind of tattoo of barbed wire from a friend that does stick and poke tattoos, and I have more pieces on my legs from her that I'll show you in a second. But I wanted something to match, so I got ivy to match on the other side, and the puppet kind of hanging down from the ivy, just to kind of have some kind of asymmetry. If someone were to ask me what that puppet kind of symbolised or meant to me, I'm not fully sure I'd be able to give a good answer. I don't believe that every tattoo needs a kind of proper meaning, but it's obviously nice when there is one. But I think it was, about maybe 4 or 5 days before I had that tattooed on me, I witnessed a very kind of graphic, horrible climbing accident, where unfortunately, not that it would have been better if it was the climber's kind of fault, but unfortunately it was the worst kind of event in that it was ropes being cut by rockfall. So that kind of really frightened me, and is still kind of causing some problems. So when I kind of remembered that I had that tattoo scheduled for a few days later, I basically wrote out a message saying that I wanted to cancel it, or try to find something from her Flash to get instead, so that I wouldn't lose a deposit. But I decided to go with it because even though I found some kind of relevance of the ropes, and I thought, is this a bad omen? Should I just not get this tattoo? I'm not sure I want that kind of memory. People around me said, no, just go for it. I'm sure it's like there is no real connection. I haven't taken my hay fever tablet today, and I think that it is starting to come on. But so yeah, I just went and got it, and I'm glad that I did, because it's such a beautiful tattoo, and it's done really well, especially by someone that hasn't been tattooing for very long. But it hurt a lot. It was not pleasant to receive. But I'm not really sure I can give a specific reason for why I wanted it. Again, with her, I'd seen her post something kind of similar. It was a kind of basic puppet, not on strings, and yeah, I just kind of tweaked this thing and asked for more things and less things here and everything. And yeah, she did it. She did really well, and I'm actually hoping to see her again soon. She came and saw my final show, not just for me. She knows other people that she's tattooed, or I think she actually might have taken the course a few years back, so she likes to support it in that way. And I told her I'd definitely be coming back to her soon, as soon as I see something from her kind of Flash, or if I can think of something that I really kind of want. Yeah, I'd definitely like more from her. So I'm really not sure how I'm going to show these ones. I also have not really shaved my legs for a few days, and because I have a tan, my hair's extra dark, so please ignore that. Not that there is anything wrong with not shaving, but yeah, it's going to be really awkward to show these ones. So, for the story of my very first tattoo, it was 4 years ago, and actually probably nearly exactly 4 years ago, and I smoked a lot of weed. It's not weed. It's not a weed leaf. A lot. I don't really anymore. It's for a variety of reasons. I felt like I was just eating a lot, and kind of wasting a lot of time. But I have friends around me that I know that smoke that are more productive than I am sober. But personally with me, I just kind of got very lazy. But I used to smoke a lot, and I went to Amsterdam. There are many reasons to go to Amsterdam, but the first time that I ever went, I went mainly for that reason, with some friends. I think we were kind of leaving college, or it was the first year of college or something, and we decided to celebrate it that way. And I had some money left before I had to go on my coach, so I thought, I know what I'll do with this money. I will go to a coffee shop and then I'll go and get a tattoo, my first ever tattoo. And I went in and I asked if any of the tattooists had cat designs at the ready, and they said no. I think they were probably thinking, we don't want to tattoo you. But I persevered, and I asked if they had a pencil, and I drew the worst illustration I think I've ever done. For someone who in a month and a half's time will have a degree of illustration, it's shameful that I designed this. But I was being tattooed by a man called Gar, and the pain kind of got worse about halfway through, and I wondered why, and then I thought I should look down and check, and I realised that he was filling it in, and I'd asked for a silhouette of a cat, forgetting that silhouette does actually mean kind of blacked out. I meant I wanted a blank one. So he said, oh sorry, do you want me to stop? So I said yes. So I'm left with this wonderful tattoo, and I don't ever want to remove it or cover it up, just because I like the story and I like the fact that thankfully it's so small, and I'm hopefully going to accumulate such a wide variety and basically almost cover myself with so many others you won't ever really notice that one. Yeah, I like it just because it is a memory, and that's the whole kind of point, I think. But yeah, based on surface area, it doesn't really take up very much, so I'm fine with it. So I only have a few more pieces to show, and the next two are pieces by my friend Lottie, who does stick and poke tattoos. So I guess some people, and if you kind of mentioned stick and poke to me a couple of years ago, I also would have assumed that you meant kind of prison style needle and a biro and just stabbing at your fingers, and those kind of tiny when girls just get like one dot. But it turns out that if you are really good and you use real equipment and you do it well and as hygienically as a regular tattooist, you can come up with some pretty amazing stuff. They might take 6 hours a piece, like these two, but you can do really well. Got it here. So I'm just going to change my battery and then I'll show you the pieces. So, my friend Lottie tattooed this piece. She is a kind of very strong kind of female presence, and one of her kind of mottos is soft and strong. Maybe Theresa May kind of ruined that with strong and stable being repeated so much, but yeah, she's very kind of for being both feminine and strong and determined. So she tattooed that piece. And I went back and she did the kind of flowers around it. But yeah, it took a long time. And because I liked that piece so much, I went back a while later. These pants are far too big, by the way, but they're just really comfy for when I'm in the house and kind of not painting because I don't want to get them dirty. Pretty much all of my clothes I just paint in. I don't really have any anymore that are not for painting, but these are so comfy. Oh, I slipped. But when I went back the next time, she tattooed this piece. It was based on a drawing. In fact, it basically was the drawing that she had done for part of a uni project that she did in the second year, which was based on the kind of balance and harmony between human bodies and nature. So, yeah, I think it was, I can't explain her project for her, but it's basically based on the patterns you could find within human bodies and trees and plants and everything, and just the connection of both of those things. Yeah, she's very connected to herself. Me saying that combined with these pants make me seem like a massive hippie. I love hippies though. I live in Bristol, you have to. But yeah, I find her work really beautiful and kind of simple at the same time as being detailed in some ways. I also have Hello Kitty tattooed above my knee. And like with the cat, if it was smaller and in a different place, I wouldn't cover it up or get it removed or anything. And I actually don't mind it. And if it was kind of in the same kind of place and that size, I would be keeping it. But soon I'm going to get it covered up. Not specifically just to get it covered up, but just because I chose such a good spot for having matching tattoos or really kind of amazing tattoos to be seen for when it's weather like this, and I'm wearing a skirt or shorts or whatever, one of those rare times I'm outside, so I'm not sure whether to talk about them yet. No, I haven't put a deposit down or definitely found someone yet, so I won't talk about it just in case it doesn't go ahead. It should, it's just taking a little while to find someone willing. But yeah, I'm going to have 2 large matching tattoos above my knees soon. Maybe when they do it, I'll say to them, if I throw you an extra tenner, can you just do a tiny little Hello Kitty tattoo somewhere? Just so I've got it back. But yeah, I think that is all the tattoos I have. It's probably surprising to some people that I have so few. I feel like I have not very many. I definitely want a lot more, but I also feel like when you see someone maybe that's like 19 or 20 and they're completely covered, I do find that a bit kind of sad because they're running out of room already, and I'm only 22 and I've got a long time to tattoo myself yet. My mum is in her 50s and she only got one a few years ago. Yeah, so I hope that this was everything that people have been hoping for. If anyone, I'm not sure what I want to ask. Basically, if anyone knows any great tattooists, no, ignore that. you for watching. Yeah, I hope it was relaxing at the same time as just being about nothing, really. Thank you.